Welcome back into the Five Sports Show, everybody. April 6th here, 2026, the Monday after West Virginia men's basketball wins the Crown Championship. So in today's show, we'll break down that game, pretty much the weekend series for West Virginia baseball, but mainly on the West Virginia basketball team, and kind of close the book on the 25-26 season as the portal opens this week, actually midnight tonight technically opens the portal. So a lot of excitement probably over these next couple weeks. The guys that are staying, of course, a lot of seniors. So we know for a fact there's going to be a transformation on this roster next year. But we're going to talk about it all. We'll talk about the game. We'll hear from head coach Ross Hodge, Honor Huff, and Brennan Lorient in a couple of minutes. We'll also break down the entire season stat by stat, pretty much go by the numbers, how West Virginia compared against other Big 12 schools, and also on a national scale. As always, I'm your host, Cam Murray, the Five Sports Show. So let's quickly hear from head coach Ross Hodge after that Crown Championship win.
Just an incredible basketball game, a lot of ebbs and flows. Honor obviously got us off to an incredible start with his shot making. And we knew they were going to answer because they have so much talent on the offensive end of the floor. And, we didn't defend great, but I think they had a lot to do with this. They put us in space, put us in tough positions. And then like this group can do and has shown an ability to do all year long, when it looked like we were just about done for, their competitive spirit and their togetherness and their love for each other kicks in and made big plays, started getting stops. And, I thought kind of an unsung hero of the game was Harlan, and he got in a little bit of foul trouble in the first half, and that hurt us. He only scored one basket in the game, but if you look at his plus-minus, he was a plus 35. And he really anchored us in the paint. Jasper made big shots. Chance got us going there in the second half when we were down, just driving the ball, and just a huge monster effort from everybody.
That's head coach Ross Hodge after the Crown win. 89-82 over Oklahoma in overtime. And can't be stated enough, the Mountaineers earned themselves $300,000 for winning the Crown. So unsure where that money goes and unsure how that gets spent. I'm not too sure. But after that Crown win, the portal obviously opens this week. So we know for sure a couple of guys coming in from high school. We're going to keep our eye out on the latest in the transfer portal all week long, so stay right here on 5 News, both on the 5 Sports Show and on air, of course. But we got to hear from the guy, Honor Huff. 38 points. He now becomes the single-season record holder for most three-point makes for a West Virginia Mountaineer. And Huff basically led this team to victory in the semifinal win with some clutch shots and drew a clutch foul to send this game to overtime and ultimately take down Oklahoma. Let's hear from Honor Huff right now after that incredible 38-point performance against Oklahoma.
It's these guys right here, coach, and the players, like, they always come up to me, like, keep shooting. B-Lo is the king of saying that. Look, score, think to score, keep shooting, like, shoot it. Like even if someone's hand is in my face, he be like, shoot it, I'm gonna go get it. So it's really just these guys right here give me the confidence to next shot mentality that the next one's gonna go in. And coach always tells me, keep shooting and bang it. He always tells me that on the sideline in my ear. So I mean, it's just they have the utmost confidence in me, and I always had since the first game of the season. So when you have people behind you like that galvanize around you, I mean, I can do no wrong in terms of that, like shot making and missing shots. Like that's just we worry about other things, other intangibles to win games.
And we'll hear more from Lyle's coach from the semifinal win over Creighton. But we're going to have a look now at the complete stats for year one of head coach Ross Hodge and the Mountaineers. We're going to show that right now. And as you can see, I'll tell you right off the bat, there are 4-4 in non-conference games if you want to count Stanford and Creighton. But right now, have a look. Looks like West Virginia right now, 2-4. They were 2-4 against top 25 teams, 9-9 in Big 12 play. End of the year, 21-14. First time getting 21 wins since the 2019-20 season. That was obviously the COVID year for West Virginia. But what stands out first on this, cumulative stats for the whole year? Third in Big 12 scoring defense, held teams below 65.7. The only teams that were better were Houston and Iowa State. And if you want to look at it on a national perspective, West Virginia, 14th nationally in scoring defense. That is what Ross Hodge, in the first press conference, made it a point to mention that. You got to be on the same level as Houston and the top Big 12 teams to score in terms of scoring defense. In year one, he hit that mark. Now, offense is something that needs to be improved for 2026 and 27. Of course, they finished dead last in the Big 12 in offensive scoring per game, only scoring 70.6. Dead last in assist to turnover ratio, also dead last in team three-point percentage, but 10th in defending the three in opponent three-point percentage, 13th in combined rebounds, 4th in opponent combined rebounds per game. For me, the biggest stat, of course, comes with the scoring defense. You rank 3rd in the Big 12, 14th nationally. That's your best stat. You went 4-4 in non-conference Power 5 games. Beat Stanford, beat Creighton, beat Oklahoma, and beat Pitt. You lost to Wake Forest, Ohio State, Xavier, and Clemson. How would you characterize year one of head coach Ross Hodge? I mean, you win the crown. Of course, listen, he mentioned it himself in the press conference on Sunday night. No team wants to play in the crown tournament or the NIT if they don't have to, right? I think we all can admit that. No team is going into the season saying, I want to win the crown championship, or I want to win the NIT, I want to win the CBI, right? No, they all have the goal. They want to make the tournament and see what happens after that. Ross Hodge kind of mentioned how professional the crown tournament was set up in terms of they know no team wants to be there technically. They know no team really wants to be playing in that game. West Virginia took a lot of pride in being in that tournament. I think it has a lot to do with the seniors they had in their team, knowing this is their last chance to play ball together. In general, play ball, like college ball in general for most of them. And we saw, tremendous character from this group. Guys fighting through injuries. So we knew about Amir Jenkins. Coach Hodge mentioned that, how Amir Jenkins was struggling through injuries throughout the entire year. He still played. Well, apparently another Mountaineer was dealing with some injuries pretty much after the regular season, and that was Trey Eaglestaff. But despite the injuries, he still toughed it out, played well for the Mountaineers in the Crown Tournament. So, I don't know why I pronounced the Crown like that, the Crown Tournament. So, here from head coach Ross Hodge on how Trey Eaglestaff, battling through some injuries, just shows once again the power of this team and how they just came together to claim the ultimate goal, winning the crown.
Trey's been playing through a lot. He would never make an excuse, and he would never want me to say it, but I am going to say it. He was dealing with a really bad turf toe at the end of our regular season. Had we beat BYU in the conference tournament quarterfinal or first round, he probably wouldn't have been able to play the next game. And he was probably like 40% then. The time off was really good for him, and he probably came back about 75, 80%. But the cumulative effect of playing so many games in so many days takes a toll on you. And then if anybody's dealt with an injury before, you start overcompensating and you run a little different, and so he would never say it. But like I said, it's and we're a no excuse culture. We don't make excuses. We never have. There's excuses and there's reasons. And so he was just he's been gutting through it the whole end of the season.
Now, I just want to mention on top of that, and this is just kind of across the board in athletics. You're getting, many of these guys, NIL, getting paid to play and things like that. It kind of gets lost in terms of taking pride in what you do. We mentioned it with Zach on the last episode. A guy like Eaglestaff, knowing this is his last chance to play, toughing it out, commend him for that. Also, commending the seniors and the whole team for taking this tournament seriously. There's plenty of teams that would have taken this opportunity, played one game, maybe won it, maybe lost, and they might not have cared. I really do think if there was one team in this tournament that showed they wanted to win it, it was West Virginia every single game. So I really do think that Ross Hodge is building something strong for the Mountaineers in 2026 and 27. You get this kid Miles Sadler to come in and help you on the offense. The defense, I think the defensive foundation, the standard he set this season, that will never be taken away. The defensive standard for Ross Hodge will never be questioned, at least the Power 4 in this level in the Big 12. Maybe the beginning of the year, didn't know how it would look, but at the end of the season, you win 21 games, you remain in the top 3 of scoring defense, 14th nationally. Nobody can question Ross Hodge in terms of that side of the ball. Offense, just got to get more guys that can put the ball in the basket. At the end of the day, if you can't score, you can't win. West Virginia won more games than they lost. So, we just took a look at the stats. You want to talk about the good versus the bad? So, yeah, you were dead last in offensive scoring per game, 3rd in Big 12 scoring defense, 4th in scoring margin. So you kind of evened out. You were middle. You were toward the top in margin. So you're holding teams below 65, only scoring 70. You remain in the top 5 in terms of margin in that. But Ross Hodge said something very interesting during the press conference after the crown. And, it was more just where this team is looking to go. Sometimes you can hear a coach talk about the aspirations of winning a national championship, making the Final Four, making the playoffs. And sometimes you can hear it could be coach speak. It could just be, well, we want to achieve that. It seems more like hope than actual aspiration. And this was my favorite quote I heard from head coach Ross Hodge after this crown win. It was just talking about the guys who were on this team, Brennan Laurent, Honor Huff, Jasper Floyd, Eagle Staff, Obi Oha. The list goes on with all the guys that played on this team that won't be here next year, right? These guys have a stake in where this program goes. Ross Hodge is hoping that these guys look back in 2 or 3 years when the Mountaineers are playing, hopefully deeper into the NCAA tournament. These guys were a part of the first year in building that foundation. And I don't think you could have had a better group of guys to build that foundation in year 1 for head coach Ross Hodge. But this is what he had to say. And you tell me if this excites you if you're a Mountaineer fan.
But I told these guys from the beginning, and I've been fortunate, our first year at North Texas, we finished that year 15-17. And we ended up getting an opportunity to play in the CBI, and we ended up winning the CBI. We ended up going 20-18. The next year started out with the best school record in the history of the school. The following year, we won a championship that got cut short because of COVID. But and then in 2023, we were able to win the NIT as well. I was an assistant coach there, and so I told these guys, if you get a chance to win the last game of the year, it's special. And these guys will remember this. We all will remember this forever. And it's not the ultimate goal as a program or a university, but it sets a great standard and expectation moving forward. And these guys, when we, are playing in Final Fours and winning national championships, these guys will know that they started it. And they'll look back on it, and they know that they laid the foundation for what is about to come.
You know what this reminds me of? Being a New England guy, even though they won, Ross Hodge won the crown, obviously, I can't help but think that quote reminds me so much of what Dan Hurley was saying in his first year at UConn. Now, I'm not going to compare these two guys on any level like that. I'm just saying in terms of the words that they're saying, like, you might not see it right now. And kind of what he said in his press conference a year and a half ago, year and some change. You can't see something in the future right now. But from what we saw, they are building something. They have the foundation they want. And I love the belief that Ross Hodge is. Yeah, you win the crown, you probably have some confidence, but go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say this team can make the Final Four. Go ahead and say they can win a national championship. Don't shy away from that, Because at the end of the day, you're playing in the crown. He said it himself, you don't want to be playing in this tournament. No one does. But to have that confidence in year one, something special. And I think that can bode well for recruits hearing that, possible transfers in the portal, hearing Coach Hodge talking on a national stage about this team is going to make Final Fours and national championships. That's only going to help your team going forward. Now, of course, you have to meet those expectations. You can't just say them and we're going to do this next year too. We're going to look back and all the things that Coach Hodge wants to have as expectations for year two. We'll be sure to check that and see how he meets that. Of course, this year pretty much met it. Iowa State just barely beat West Virginia out in the scoring defense category. West Virginia was number 2 for much of the year. Iowa State snuck in at number 2 toward the end of the season. But very successful season for head coach Ross Hodge. More successful than Darren DeVries. Of course, Josh Eilert. I don't think that's really hard to do. But more successful than DeVries. And like I said, the COVID year was the last time West Virginia had 21 wins. Of course, pandemic cut that season short. But Ross Hodge, 21 wins in year one and a crown championship. So very good for the Mountaineers in year one. Now to some West Virginia baseball. Mountaineers right now in 3rd place in the Big 12 standings. Fall to UCF in their first series loss of the season. UCF shut out the Mountaineers 5-0 on Friday. West Virginia answered back 11-10 on Saturday. But on Sunday, UCF took down West Virginia 5-1. UCF 10-2 in the Big 12 right now, stands alone in first place with a 20-9 overall record. Kansas now jumps to the 2nd spot in the Big 12 standings. They're 22-10 overall, and West Virginia 8-4 in the Big 12. Right now, they're 3rd in the Big 12 standings, and they have a 21-7 record. But the Mountaineers will play Marshall on Wednesday. It was supposed to be on Tuesday. The game got moved to Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. at the Kendrick Family Ballpark. And listen, big game for the Mountaineers. I think the Mountaineers should come out strong in that game. And Marshall 14-17 right now, not strong, not starting the year well. West Virginia should take advantage of that and get another win, get their 22nd win of the season. But to end this 5 sports show on Monday, just want to congratulate West Virginia men's basketball. Not making the tournament stinks. As a fan, I'm sure as a player and a coach even more, it stinks not making the tournament, but the Mountaineers were one of the only teams in the country that took this seriously and had a plan. We saw that GIF. You know what I'm talking about, the GIF where Hodge is holding the dollar bill, going into the locker room, holding it up. This is the team that you wish could have been around for a couple more years. The high character guys, the pride they had and playing for each other, playing for the university. Be hard to match that next season in terms of the guys you had and character-wise. But maybe you bring some guys in with a bit more offensive talent, Sadler being one of those guys, and we'll see where they go from here. But West Virginia right now ends their season with a win. Only one of 3 or 4 teams to end their season with a win, and West Virginia does it. $300,000 richer. So subscribe to the podcast, 5 Sports Show on YouTube and on our website at WDTV. All from me here for another 5 Sports Show. I'm Cam Murray.